100% on.
Hey.
We are live from Nubian Human in the Anacostia Arts Center in historic Anacostia, Southeast Washington, D.C. And this is the Neighborish live cast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Super Dave, a.k.a. Mr. Incredible.
Super.
And with me, as always, are two extremely dope individuals. Our resident feminine energy,
Fruitfit.
Miss Fruitfit, Miss Butter Pecan, Miss. So, oh, you know?
Look at that. Look.
Start drawing. Well, I may turn the microphone. Anyway, but
You have to talk to her about that, Dave.
Hey.
what I was about to say was, when I do your intro now, I had stopped saying the personal trainer part just because I know when you was coming out of your medical situations, you were saying you was, thinking about realigning your stuff. Is that I probably should have brought all this up before we started.
I know, right?
Putting you on the spot, but
No,
should I say personal?
No,
trainer
I'm still training.
Okay, so I
I'm
can
still going to
say
be
that.
training, but it'll just be some added layers to the healthy living beyond the gym.
Okay,
But
but I can still say personal trainer and fitness guru.
Fitness guru.
yeah, you pick that. I'll let you pick that.
Okay. I'm gonna do it like y'all today. I'm gonna pull the mic out so I'm not leaning over. I notice I'm always like leaning and
I'm
looking
trying to
weird,
get
but
rid of it.
I'm
trying to go
get
to the
both of y'all.
couch.
See, Dave, I can get you
we gotta
today.
get the stands. Yeah, I can squeeze in.
Look. All right, see that? As long as you good over there.
Yeah, I'm
you-
good. I'm good.
All right,
Yeah,
Jane.
so
All right, I hope that don't fall off the thing.
it'll
All
be
right.
okay.
That's
Yeah,
better.
and sitting down at the end of the table, holding it down, is DC's native son,
Hey.
the SE3 representative,
Yep.
the one and only Jay Son.
Hello.
What's good, a lady and gentleman?
All is well, Dave. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Did y'all have a good weekend?
I had an excellent weekend.
Oh, excellent. You care to share any specifics about your?
No.
You don't
just-
have to. I'm just.
Yeah, I
saying.
know. And
He said, "I know."
it's just excellent. It's feeling good,
All
man.
right, Bill and Ted is excellent. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And
All right,
Fruitfit,
what's
how's
that?
yours?
I think I had a great weekend. I had to think about what day it was today.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, I had a good
It is
weekend.
Monday.
Yeah, it is Monday. I know.
That's why we're
I be
here
checked
at
out
11 o'clock.
sometimes.
So
Like
good.
we do
I
every
be having
Monday.
a day. I be having a J moment every now and then. Every
Yeah,
now and then
yeah.
I look like this.
Yeah. I'm definitely off one right now.
It
It's going to be a good show.
happens from time to time. So typically we'll have a guest and we're trying to get through intros and get through topics so we can get to the guests and get it over. But we don't have that today. So I got a little time and I want to take this opportunity that I rarely have to big up you two people. My team.
Oh,
shit.
awesome.
Okay.
We've been doing this for quite a while now, and I want to talk about how much I appreciate you guys and your insight, your jokes, your fun, everything that y'all bring to the table, man. I really love coming in here every Monday and sitting with you
Yeah.
people, with you crazy folks, and with you kooky kids, and and chopping it
call
up.
us
Though it's
kooky
been
kids?
like I've learned so much. It's been extremely insightful. And I appreciate y'all, and I just want to say that out loud.
Thank
and I
you,
wanted to
Dave.
ask y'all, we've been doing this for a while, so kind of putting y'all on the spot, and I start with you, Patrice.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Fruitfit.
you have any favorite moments, like anything that you think back on from doing this show, like any guests that we had or any, thing that we said or jokes or anything that you think about and be like, oh, yeah, when that was a good
I
one.
actually have two.
Okay.
Oh,
I have two.
And go ahead and tell
it's
them about
so
it
funny
while I
you
grab my
saying
book.
this because I was looking at something. I was trying to do my Throwback Thursday, and I was looking back at some of the shows. So I went on to YouTube, and I looked at some of the shows, and I was like, wow.
Shout out to the YouTube page. Follow us on YouTube.
Yeah, Neighborish
follow us on
Livecast.
YouTube. So there were two. The first one was when Delanya, that's how you say her name, right?
Yes.
When she was on here, I think she is so super dope.
Extremely dope.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to hear Delanya, but I appreciate you. I've gotten some things from her. I was looking back.
You be
at,
supportive too, Fruitfit.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
That's some gangster shit right
I
there.
try
Yeah,
because
yeah.
not everybody, everybody don't, support.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you be
Any,
going in.
anybody, I don't care what somebody is selling. Like I try to, even if I had $5, even if I had $10 and something costs $5, I'm gonna support anyway
right.
because I believe in universal energy and I know how all of that works.
Yeah.
And then being an entrepreneur yourself, you know how the struggle is, right? So
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
not even just giving to get back, but just giving to let that person know, nah, don't give up on that dream.
Yeah,
Stay
and
in
honestly,
there.
I might not even need what I get, but I get it anyway because I'm
Right.
like, this is somebody's dream and somebody's vision,
Right.
and they pour so much into it. But anyway, she and I, when we were on here, and we were talking about, and it's so funny because I posted about this, and I'm not going to go all in on it, but
Okay.
I have a video clip of she and I talking about roles as it relates to co-parenting, and she was talking about how she co-parents her daughter, and I was talking about how I co-parent my son, and we had a real deep, intense conversation about that, and then I just vibed with her crystals, her jewelry, everything that she makes. I love, I just really vibe with her. And the second one was when we had Joe Claire on the show.
Yeah.
That was funny.
We can't even mention it without laughing. All of us.
I know, right?
Yeah, when he was
man.
talking about, just and you guys, Jay, you was talking about being in LA and how it was a difference in being in LA and being in Hollywood and a different climate, I guess, of the cultures. And y'all was, really vibing. And I think, Dave, you always ask great questions.
Oh, thank you.
And when he was talking about how he met his wife, and how you can, recognize when your brothers meet a young lady, they can tell how they're raised right off the bat.
Right.
It was just and at the time we weren't, it was at the height of COVID, so we did it live. I was actually in Richmond at my mother's, sitting on a curb outside.
Right. I remember. Yeah.
and then my phone died. I had to jump back in, but then it was just a really dope, and it's just great that we can vibe like that over the airways and be in totally, in different places, because sometimes people that don't work like that. So those are my two greatest. Those are my two most memorable moments. And I always enjoy coming in here with you guys. I look forward to Monday. And I missed y'all when I wasn't able to come. So, and I appreciate your support, both of you guys, all the time.
Proof it.
Definitely. Yeah. Proof it. Yeah.
That's like a
That's
noun now.
sincere joint.
Proof it.
Yeah. You got to give it a little proof it. But so yeah, Jay, do you have any favorite moments that you could think of,
I don't know about no favorite.
or just stuff that stands out, memorable moments?
Yeah, I can remember like on 2 occasions. I don't remember what show, who was the guest. I mean, we were just in deep discussion. Because we typically talk about a wide range of important things, I think, to the culture, to our people. And I think I've zoned out a couple times and like transcended like where I was at. Just like left and came back. Like, oh, I'm in front of a table. In the store, it's like, oh, David Proof is here too. Like, oh shit, I didn't know where I went.
Say like I'm channeling the ancestors.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
even
So I
talking
think
for me. I'm like that's dope.
Yeah, so it's like I honestly don't even remember when those times were, but it's basically it's due to the conversations we have, and I do remember how emotional it was when Wes came.
Yeah.
When Wes Felton came the day after his brother passed away.
Right.
And I thought he wasn't going to come. And then when I texted him, he's like, oh, I'm on my way. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So
that was wild too, because it was like, he was there, everything was chilling, then it's like it was almost like that same dynamic. Like stuff was pouring out of him. You know what I'm saying? Like pouring through him, and some of the stuff that he said in that moment of rawness and just emotion was.
Yeah, I think that was our longest episode.
Yeah.
He was just
like 2 hours
releasing.
I wasn't here for that one.
No.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't think
dang,
we were
I'm
here
sorry.
for
I
that.
missed out to go
No, it's
back.
okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
check it out. It's definitely, and like you can see, like we just, as he started talking and getting into different topics and different things, and we just let him go because it was like pouring out his soul so much.
Yeah.
And it seemed like stuff that he had pent up and wanted to get out. So shout out to Wes Felton for just being a
Wes.
dope individual, but just for the honesty and a rawness that he displayed. And we got to get you back because I had a whole list of questions I wanted to ask you.
And you wanted to get a picture.
Right.
Dave was like, we didn't get a picture.
I didn't get to none of them joints, but it was a great moment.
Yeah, but I do remember the interview that I feel most inspired by, and I felt proud of this brother because I feel he represented himself so well and was inspirational to me just on how he lives his regular life aside from what he does was the XO interview.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was just like, because he's my favorite rapper. And so it's for him to like live up to like the man aspect. It's like, like he kind of concreted why he's my favorite rapper. Like, okay, this is why I fuck with you tough. I fuck with your art tough. Is because you are this type of man, this type of person, who that creates the art that I fuck with. So those are the joints that stand out for me.
Yeah, it's always dope to have. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I love that we can just like be raw, uncut, and just roll off the cuff here, like because it's nothing, it's nothing put on about it or scripted, and it's just real, like real talk, and you don't really get that, especially in these times where everything is scripted and everybody's tiptoeing and walking on eggshells around every phrase and every opinion, So I appreciate that we can get into the nitty gritty here and just really roll off the cuff and say what we feel without, any type of worrying about a comment or a judgment.
Yeah, definitely. That's that was kind of the idea, is time to create an environment where, you guys feel free enough to share that wisdom and insight, immense insight, that you guys come in here and share on a weekly basis and feel free and just uninhibited to do that. And because I feel like there hasn't been a show where one of you hasn't said something that I'm sure helped somebody, and so I appreciate that about
you
both
too,
of y'all.
Dave.
Don't
remove yourself out of
make
that.
some jokes and stuff, but I don't know. But yeah, I just try to get y'all the rock, get y'all the ball, and let y'all dunk it home. So we got enough patting ourselves on the back. But yeah, man, I definitely wanted to let y'all know how much I appreciate y'all. And
likewise, Dave.
What we do here. Yeah, it's a great
You
vibe.
take good notes, Dave.
And
and your T-shirts are really nice.
Oh, well, thank you.
And your hats.
You have your hats. You have nice hats, too.
You be representing with your hat.
Yeah. And your computer is always powered up.
Except for that one time.
On time.
I'll try to be working on punctuality. But
That's
anyway.
right.
Yeah. So, man, thank you guys for that. And it's funny that, Patrice, when you were talking, you brought up the notion of like gender roles and the roles when you were talking about the line and you guys talking about it. Because I saw a post on Facebook that said...
I already know what you're talking about without you even saying it.
You got notes there?
Well,
okay.
I just scribbled down.
This nigga got notes with no guests.
I don't really need notes
like,
today because this is going to be like a free conversation.
Oh, that's why I was like, dang, he still got notes.
Because I'll forget. And
right, yeah.
In here like, what y'all want to talk about? No, but I saw a post on it was on Facebook and Instagram, but it said cooking is a life skill, not a gender role. And I was like, that's kind of deep and interesting, just because I've always had or taken issue, and I wanted to get you guys' opinions with the negative connotation that's been put on the, and I think we talked about it before, on the feminine energy, on the gender role that and I hate the term because that term itself has negative connotations with it now. When you say gender roles, ain't no role. I can be whatever I want to be. That's true, but there are certain things that energy, puts you in a position to do and feel and exude and to give to whatever unit you're a part of, whether it be a family group or anything. And so I feel like there's there has been a concerted effort for some reason to add a negative energy to the idea of being a provider, a homemaker, the person who cares for the family, who I don't want to stay home and I don't want to get out and do and not just, I don't want to make it sound like I'm just attacking women or anything of that nature, but do you guys see what I'm saying, or have you seen that kind of the negative connotation that comes with being a stay-at-home person or a caregiver and things of that nature?
I understand you, Dave.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to. I feel like I'm overexcited. I'm subconscious about it now.
You're just talking too much. That's all. We got you.
So yeah, go ahead, jump in there.
I'm not gonna say too much. I want Jay to jump in.
You about to say a whole bunch of shit. I'm not gonna say too much. Watch this, Dave. Watch this, Facebook.
No, I'm not, because I'll go way left, and I already recognize that so many. First of all, there is a serious distinction between gender and gender roles and divinity and that energy. Like masculine and feminine energy and divine, like it's so different, but because we're so programmed in this westernized way of moving within families and within structures, and now into this space of defining a gender, like because genders change and nobody's complaining about that, but everybody's complaining about the roles and how they, I made a comment on a post that I put up about, if you go back as far as, even as far as to the Aboriginal people, they had roles within their family structure. Right. The man had a role, the woman had a role, and not everybody connects with that, and I'm aware of that, but I do. So I'm, I some people call it old fashioned, but the roles are important. But I do want to make that distinction. I'm not even going to go into all of that, but there's a difference between, that energy that we talk about. Like, I was trying to explain it, and I hope Jay can help me because I don't want to start rambling, but there's a distinction between a man and woman role. When you speak that, some people gather it's a negative connotation. There's a difference between that and masculine and feminine energy and the divinity that goes with that. And if you only focus on a divinity that is exterior to you, then you will never get that meaning.
What the fuck you talking about, Dave?
If you only focus on the
this nigga Dave, man.
Yeah, if you only focus on the energy that's external to you, like that's on the surface, and not dig deeper, right? That's what you're saying.
No, like,
that's what you just said, though. But no,
that's not what I said.
Oh man, this is great.
Divinity meaning like your God self. All right. So thing number one that people don't vibe with, the God self that's in you, that divine being within you, and as it relates to masculine and feminine energy, that part. A lot of people only align with a God outside of them. An exterior, yeah. But when you don't know that you have that innate power and to vibe with masculine and feminine energy that way, and you embody that, then you will always connect with the human roles. Like, someone can tell you, oh, next week this is your role, and as long as society says that and it's right, then it's right. But I don't vibe like that. I don't subscribe to anything. I shouldn't say that, but I do. I don't.
I feel like I said the same thing, but okay.
Jay over here. Jay.
Anyway, yeah. All right. I felt what you were saying.
Good job, Dave. Nice hat, nigga.
You have on an interesting sky piece yourself.
Well, I don't have one any. I just have them.
Yeah, you wearing your crown. So,
yes. Thank you, Dave.
See?
Say that again,
Dave's
Dave.
on it.
Nope.
Say
that.
Dave.
My crown. Y'all hear that?
Yeah, you wear your crown. Yeah,
right.
definitely. So moving on. No, but yeah. So Jay.
What's the quote? No. I remember the question. I got the question. I just want to know the meme you saw.
They're hating and no.
What's the meme you saw? What
the meme said that cooking is a life skill, not a gender role.
And so you think was some backlash because of that, because of the gender roles, or well, to Patrice's point, gender roles are divine, but that may go over people's heads. So you kind of like break it down. Like, it's also scientific, and it's mathematics involved. So there's this certain charges require male and female energy to accomplish a goal, even in science and in mathematics. Like, problems can only go into certain other problems because the way that they're set up. And it's very similar with like masculine and feminine energy, which is why that's the only way you can create a child. Like, it's the only way you can perform that miracle is with both energies. Right. But I mean, as far as that particular meme in regard to like cooking, now in the indigenous and ancient and scientific and spiritual and divine aspects, feminine energy is responsible for nourishment and the raising of children or cattle or whatever form life comes. It's typically, the female energy is assigned for nourishment, which is why they can develop milk that can feed their children, or even in plants, they exude a certain smell or whatever. So it's like a certain root stimulus of feminine energy that is associated with nourishment and development. And that has nothing to do with human beings or genders or any. That's science. That's mathematics. And so when we put our subjective personal ideas on like who's supposed to feed, it's like it has nothing to do with us. Like, that has been created or ingrained in our development, in our DNA as human life.
Facts.
And so, all that shit we talking about is basically irrelevant, because all we're struggling over is the society and the construct that white man has created. And how do we fit and function into this structure that has been created, without us really knowing the architecture, the language, the culture, the nuances of this destructive capitalist, system that we are attempting to harmoniously live in, very badly. So, bringing it all the way back to the meme, like I said, there's something bigger than us that does tie food and nourishment to the feminine energy of whether it be a human or animal, whatever science, like, positive and negative neutrons and you know what I'm saying? So you can take it back to something out of personal human being existence, and there is a tie with food, nourishment, and development to feminine energy.
I agree.
So we can debate all we want, but it's really a dumbass debate. I mean,
Yeah, I see.
And it's like, if a nigga's hungry, go cook, nigga. It ain't about, what I'm saying? Like, if a dude.
Somebody sent Patrice a legal document.
Somebody named Betty Murray?
Nah.
Hi, Betty.
Hey, Betty.
It's just
thanks for tuning in.
She wrote a dissertation.
It's just a lot to read right now, Betty. We will get to it and read it. We might not get to it on the show, but we'll check it out though.
It ain't too.
Is it relevant to what we're?
Yeah, no, it's kind of. She went way left about some community stuff, and
we'll check it out though. But shout out to Betty for watching and participating.
Shout out to
and we'll
Betty.
check it out, and I'm gonna give you an answer to whatever it is she said. I'm gonna come up with something.
But at the end of the day, like I said, all of the things I said about negative, not negative, but feminine energy and nourishment and food and development, it's all subjective, because we in a time was like, I'm raising 2 children. Like, and it's just me and the kids. So I got to cook food. Right. But I'm just saying, but at the root of it, the structure that will probably most benefit our communities and our families is if we do, and not even like in a mate type, like you got to have a wife or husband. I'm just saying, so there should be a cycle of people that pour into children as far as their family. So it's like, it's good that their mom cooks for them when, when they with their, what I'm saying? So it's not just me, because I think that would be robbing them. because I think it's important that when they with their mom, that she is cooking food and feeding
Absolutely.
them and nourishing them.
Yeah.
And it's an energy in that exchange that I can't provide for them. And I think it's important for their development, like particularly eating food that their mother prepared for them, and the energy and the time that goes into the preparation. And you know what I'm saying? I think that's superiorly important to their development, and that's something that I can't do as their father.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to just drop something real quick. One of my girlfriends, she her son has locks, and he's older. I think he's like 18, but we had a conversation because my son wants locks. And I was like, I really would love to like help him start them because of the energy exchange, like because I'm his mother. So she twisted his hair to start the locks. And so now they're beautiful, they're long. And I'm like, man, that would be great, like to have that energy exchange, like your hair, the beginning of that, you know, that the antennas came from the connection with your mom. So right back to what you were saying, like we forget that energy is so powerful, you know, like I don't think we think about that. We don't think about parenting as an energy exchange with our children, dads and moms, you know. So did you turn my mic off?
It sounded like me. Hello?
Proof it.
Yeah.
Hello?
It's still showing. You still on here, so
you got levels.
It might just be a short in the situation there. But yeah, I definitely that exchange of energy, just on the level of what it means to the person receiving the energy, like your son or whoever the child is in that exchange, or the receiver of energy, because sometimes the children, you know, can give you energy or give you be the giver in that exchange. But the just how much that means to children, and it's something that's lacking, I think, in our community, and we see the results of it, of not having that exchange as much. And that was the disconnect that I was talking about between the younger and the older generation before, that I brought up about how a lot of that stuff is missing. A lot of those intimate moments between a parent and a child, just passing knowledge, passing wisdom, not even always verbally, but just emotionally, and just in the care that you would give to the loss and the time that you would take. That emotional experience is something that I think is necessary, but I think that we lack, and it speaks to, you know, how people's energy ends up being, you know. And so, yeah, I definitely, you know, align with all of those statements. And,
good job, Dave.
Yeah, thank you. And how's my hat? Tell them about my hat.
Looking good, man.
Thank you.
Wizards.
Right.
Yeah.
The bullets.
That's,
back in the day.
yeah, all of that. I like both names.
Shots.
I like the Wizards.
Do you feel like it?
I ain't like it at first when they changed it. What was that, like 90? It was the late 90s they changed it to.
Yeah, they tried to associate it with like the clan and stuff, the Grand Wizards or something.
Yeah, but it's like wizardry came from us, man. That's our science. That's our ancient culture.
They always taking things and trying.
Exactly.
That's what we talked about before the show, how a lot of things that are indigenously ours and innately good, they try to whitewash, and a lot of things that are have negative connotations, they always try to put a black spin on it, like the drug trade and things like that. Like white people ain't started, you know?
Right?
You know? but we the face of drugs now. We the mascots.
They had a whole government agency behind
dedicated to pushing it in the
right.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's another
thing.
show.
We got some time. We might get into it. But I do want to talk a little bit about the election season. And y'all been getting like texts and phone calls from like candidate robocalls and stuff.
I have.
I don't get them.
Is it?
I don't answer any calls
that
without
you don't.
a name.
Yeah, see the number. Yeah, but
I don't answer them. I've been getting texts though. They've been sending texts.
And see,
it's like my mother must have did some shit too, cause they be like, "Hi, Mrs."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh, she just gave my number." Like, go ahead, ma. Yeah.
My mom too. They be calling, "Hey, Miss Johnson."
I'm like, nah, bruh. Like, I'm a guy talking to my mother about that, man.
They be like, "Is she
get these niggas
like,
my number?"
The phone? No, this is a cell phone. Leave me alone. But yeah, there's a lot of robocalls and stuff, and you know, tomorrow is of course election day.
Woo!
And all this main.
You see the meme? What you wearing to the Civil War?
Oh yeah, I have seen that.
Wow, that's what it's gonna be.
That's a meme.
You think? No, but I'm saying, y'all think is that y'all think it's gonna be like
I think we already been at war. I think it's just
Yeah.
different levels of visibility.
We in the
but
midst of
you
it.
know, get ready for it. Like,
Yeah.
nigga, what you talking about?
You say you been ready.
Now it's just now that some pockets of it are on the news. You know,
Right.
people are
Right,
driven
right.
by that. But we've been in this civil war.
And every time this season comes around, it's something to talk about. So the talking heads are going to talk about it, and like you know, you say on a regular basis, Fruitfit talk about the emotional attachment that it draws, and so that's always good television. So they want to keep that going and keep, you know, putting it in your face and making sure you know that Trump said this and Biden said this and, you know, this candidate said this and, oh, you can't, did he really say that? You can't let him get away with that and blah, blah, blah. So just to keep you emotionally, you know, focused on something other than aligning with your, you know, divine energy, right? Like,
Yeah.
So.
It's funny too, because when I was at my mom's recently, she lives in Richmond, and the commercials, so she has, you know, she watches TV, and so she had the TV on, and even the commercials are different out there because it caters to a different, you know, a different demographic, way different.
Right.
And then here, even when I'm listening to certain channels, so I like all music, so I might be listening to a jazz channel, or I might be, you know, I might listen to, like, I like Maroon 5. I might listen to their music. The commercials on when I listen to Maroon 5 and I listen to, you know, say Lettucey.
Yeah.
And the Biden commercial come on and the Trump commercial, and it just be total opposite, you know, even down to the people that are in the commercials. And I know that's just advertisement, but
and it's funny how the pictures they paint are so whenever they're talking about the other candidate, the pictures they paint are so ominous, and they even use like the what is it, the suspense movie voice guys, like Joe Biden said. It's like, really, you know. And it's so, but the funny thing is, I've heard the exact same thing about like different sides of every, like the presidential candidates and stuff. So you'll hear one commercial, because I listen to a bunch of different stuff too, and so you hear those differences. And so especially here in DC where it's so polarized, so one station that plays, you know, like maybe top 40 hits might, you know, play like a Trump commercial, and then the urban hits will play the Biden one. And so you'll hear, you know, a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for raising your taxes. And then on the other station, you'll hear a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for raising your tax. So which one is really gonna, you know, I don't know. But anyway, it's all crap. I mean, it's a bunch of foolishness, and it shows how, like, I had used the term tone deaf, but Jay seems to believe it's all it's all strategery, right, Jay?
Absolutely.
Well, yes, of course it is.
Yeah,
and we using it out of context.
Yeah, it was a different kind of.
We were speaking on the get your booty to the pole stripper commercial.
Right. Yeah.
What?
The
I did not
Democrats.
see that.
Yeah. I wanted to intro
Oh
that.
my
Thank you, Jay.
God.
That's what it was.
that's what I was going with it.
So
You fell into my trap. No, but
no,
I'm just messing with
good
you.
trap. That's a good strategy, Dave.
Yeah, well, you know, I do it.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure most people have seen the campaign ads by the Democratic Party that has strippers and has a song, "Get Your Booty to the Pole," using strippers as a way to I guess persuade or lure voters in. And you know, the conversation that Dave and I were speaking of when he was saying that I felt it was strategic, because he was like, "Oh, they're tone deaf. They don't know what they're doing." And I'm like, "Nah, they've studied." Like, so what happened in the United States is they created niggers. Like, niggers never existed before the introduction of European people to African and indigenous people. So they couldn't control, you know, what our root is. You know, we were, you know, scientists, mathematicians, kings, queens. Like, you know, we had all these superpowers and abilities. So they was like, okay, well, we need to control and harness a way that we can use their power and their abilities for us. So they created and manufactured what's called niggas. And so they took our language and our culture and our way to communicate with each other and our spirituality and, you know, deemed it negative and crazy and what so have you. And so then once they took that out of us, they were able to mold us into what they could use so that they can dominate the earth by using our talent, skills, and resources. And they can, you know, manipulate our definition of ourselves and what we consider ourselves, which is why we can easily kill each other. We can easily, what I'm saying, do each other bad because we are viewing the world from a white lens, a white perspective. So all that to say, when they make commercials like this, that's super degrading to women, especially black women, and black men, because I'm not any less offended as any black woman that sees and feel the way about. So let me, me correct that. But Dave was like, oh, they're tone deaf. They don't know what they're doing. And my thought was like, no, they know exactly what they're doing because they created how we see, think, and feel. So they know what it's going to trigger when a certain demographic sees it. Yeah. But they've bet on the demographic of people who they know it will work for. So they knew how many people would be offended and that who it's offensive to, and they like, yeah, fuck them. But these are the niggas we trying to get, and they gonna like these fat butt ass strippers on this pole, and that will lure some of them to come vote for our candidate. Maybe and it's like the statement I was telling the sister that sent me the video about it because she was upset. And I was like, and this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. And, that's what we do here at Neighborish.
Go
you know what I'm saying? But strategically speaking, from a mass media and a psychology perspective of why you would run an ad like that, they will only run an ad like that, create a ad like write the script, find actors, get the light settings, and like shoot and create that, piece of information to a demographic of people that are dumb enough that believes in voting anyway. And so only a demographic of people who think, black people that think and feel that their ballot or casting their ballot or their vote contributes to anything, any aspect of their life or their freedom of expression or their liberation or their sovereign living as a human being, like those are the people we need to target. The people that believe in this system, that the people that believe that this system, the electoral college and all of that works in their favor. So we're catering to that demographic of people. So it's, so all that to say, that's why I feel that it wasn't like a tone deafness or they didn't know what they doing. It's like, nah, nigga, they created us and everything about us.
I just want to make sure Patrice knows we probably need to duck in a few minutes.
I said people ain't want to hear that shit. Yeah. But it's just a perspective. I'm sorry.
But see, everything is marketing. Everything. The way that restaurants are situated so you can have certain smells and the smells and how they communicate with you neurologically. Is that how you say that?
That's the word. Yeah.
Good
job.
Trinity.
Everything is marketing.
Everything.
Everything. In order to market, you have to create an emotional attachment.
Yeah.
Like that is not rocket science. If you really sit back and think about that. That is fact. And so if you operate through any other lens beyond that, you will never understand how all of that works. What Jay was just talking about.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, like, I kind of giggled when you were saying what you were saying because it's so the level of, like, when you say they created the nigga and the level of it is so deep that they gave the things associated with that person a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But got us to the point where we take pride in the negative connotation or like, no, you don't say this is bad. This is who I am, and this is what I know. It's not. Yeah. You don't know who you were.
Even the sister that sent me the meme about the voting, and she was like, her girlfriends was like, well, they ain't talking about me or it don't care. And it's the same thing with like hip hop music when they supremely degrade and crush the spirits of black women in the music, but the women be like, well, they ain't talking about me. This is my jam, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like the same. But certain people are that way. Then there's certain people who remain offended, and so the point being is like when you market and create a marketing campaign such as that, like the stripper booty on the pole joint, they know what demographic is going to be offended too. Because they was like, oh, it's this demographic of people whose minds are kind of freed from that. But they don't outnumber or overpower the people that be like, well, they ain't talking about me, girl. Like, pass my drink.
It's
like it ain't me. Yeah. So it's like it's a bet that they gamble. Like, I bet that the people who are offended ain't really going to do enough to you know what I'm saying, stop us
right.
from our agenda.
And the other side of that is who. So please tell me about the commercial again. You said it's somebody stripping.
Yeah, it's they got strippers campaigning like, did you vote? Did you know that if you evict, and then, you know, there's strippers on the stage and they stripping shit, then it's cutaways to them like shaking their ass on the
Right.
pole, riding up and down.
And
And
so-
get your booty to the pole.
Yeah,
Get your booty to the pole.
So look, let's go back to what we talked about. Was it last week or the week before? With what's the rapper's
a week
name?
before. We weren't here
The
last
rapper's name. The
Are you
What's
talking
her
about
name?
the Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah,
Jay's
remember?
favorite rapper?
Man,
remember?
I have a
So that
strong
that all
dislike
ties
for that
in,
artist.
though. But I'm saying that all ties in, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's
When she was
exactly
on
what they
Saturday
doing
Night
before.
Live and putting her black fist up and talk about, what was the shit she had the Malcolm quote. I'm sorry, Malcolm.
You reminded him. You brought it back.
Yeah,
But
I
that
remember
goes
now.
with it. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
on stage and you know you twerking and all that. It goes right along in alignment with the commercial. Like
Yep.
it's all. And then I mean, you know, I'm gonna go left, but
Uh-oh.
the feminist movement, like everybody they're gonna want to protect all the women. Like, don't, you know, just because she does that doesn't mean anything, yada yada yada. And it hones in, and now they're gonna all gather together. Like it's like a protective. It taps into that nurturing spirit of the woman, but
Yeah,
nobody
yeah,
sees
yeah.
that. That's all
And,
marketing.
yeah,
all of
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, getting them to use that nurturing spirit in the way that's, you know, they nurturing the ideals that they put forth of what a woman should be and things of that nature.
Right, and not the ones that they divinely, innately embody.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's-
But did y'all read my post that I put up about the
I read all of your posts, first
Right,
of all.
that's
but
right,
which
Dave.
one-
read-
it's a
did
lot
y'all
of it.
read
Which
the
Nice
one?
hat, Dave.
Did y'all read the post? Did y'all read the post about a man coming home to a hot pocket in a juice box?
Oh, I did read that.
And
I
Joke.
did
actually didn't see that one.
I ain't read what
That's
you
the
said,
one
though.
that I missed, though, out of all of them.
I've seen that meme though.
But what did
I
it
ain't
say?
see your
'Cause I
response.
didn't
What
see
you was
it.
talking about?
I
What did it
didn't,
say?
so I don't really say too much. I just chimed in a little bit, but when I did chime in, it was about masculine and feminine energy and that divine alignment. That's and one thing that I realized was you can't explain that. How do I want to say this? You can't explain that in human terms. Like, you gotta help me out with this, because I was thinking about that today. Like, in order to explain that, like it's divine and human
Certain
are
level of
separate.
divinity has to be
Yeah.
understood
Yeah,
before
it's
you can
separate.
even.
You gotta have an understanding before a person
right.
can even be open to receive that. So that's why I'm always limited anyway. I don't go back and forth. But I was trying to explain that there is a difference between a human saying this is your role and that's my role, or an understanding that, like, I want to pour into my man because as feminine energy, that's what I want to do. That's what I desire to do, and that's what I'm assigned to do.
Yeah, that's what Jay was
Like,
saying with the
yeah,
levels of it.
it
Not,
was
not
hard-
taking
it's
the
hard to
human idea of
explain
it.
that.
But what did the meme itself? Like, what did it say altogether?
Oh,
Like,
Shaq, go back to the post, sis. It was interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Who? Go ahead. What?
When somebody commented and said I missed that post.
Yeah, so I was saying, what do you remember exactly what it said? Or you don't? I don't want to put you on.
It said, no man wants to come home from 40 hours of work a week to a hot pocket in a juice box, a fruit punch. And then a young lady commented and said,
No woman wants to come
no
home
woman
doing
wants
this.
to, no, she said no woman wants to come home after working 40 hours a week and clean a bathroom and feed the children and wash the tub. And I was just looking at it like, so I'm different.
That emotional attachment, though, right?
Like,
Yeah.
I love doing domestic stuff. Like, that's how I
now we
feel
gotta
like
duck.
women
The
should.
sniper.
Yes,
Ain't-
like,
ain't no
so I'm
ducking
just
over
gonna
here,
say
bro.
me.
Oh, you good on that side? I just
Like-
I'm good
So
on any
me,
side.
like, it's an honor for me to serve my man. That it's an honor and a pleasure and a privilege. Like, rub his feet, whatever, rub his back, serve his food, put it. No microwave stuff. No, like, I that's me. That's that feminine energy. But not everybody understands or believes in the divine energy there. And I don't know how to verbalize it.
Jay, I'm not touching that one. Jay, what
but
you got? What you got, Jay?
Nah, I got a lot. I got a lot for that because
and I agree with it 100%. But like Jay says frequently, it's tough for us to comment.
But
It is.
Let me,
It
But
is.
let me. So
But
let
you
me
said
make
you
it
had
easy
something
for
to
you.
say.
Let me
Nah,
just
let her
tell you this
finish.
real quick.
Yeah.
I have guy friends who have women they struggle with a woman. Like I'll give you. Well, I can't give you an example because I don't know if it's a lady
Don't put
follow
people
me or
on the-
something.
yeah,
I can't.
on blast.
But I'll just give you a blanketed
Broad, yeah,
scenario
broad, yeah.
that of guys that I know that they take care of house and home or whatever, and they come home and the woman doesn't, like I'll come home, I might have worked, a 16-hour shift and it's no food is made and the son is, the son that's not his is doing, like all types of scenarios.
Yeah.
And I always tell my guy friends, you can't teach that. Like the person, like Joe was saying,
If they're not
like
willing
Joe
to
was
learn,
saying,
right?
no, you can't learn that. You cannot learn that. You cannot teach that. You cannot teach a role at 45 and 50 years old.
Well, yeah, no, not.
Now, if you younger,
it's hard to teach an
if
old
you
dog new
younger,
tricks.
you meet a 25-year-old and you got a PYT or something, and she wanna, learn, and that's different. But you can't teach.
But there's so
that.
much that comes along with that too, because then you have to deal with the work of the teaching it, because there's going to be struggles in there. There's going to be so it's a whole thing. But yeah, definitely, I'm with you so far. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right, you understand the difference between a house and a home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
That's Anthony, I think. Yeah.
okay.
Understand the difference between a house and a home.
Like
you gotta elaborate a little more.
You're making it a home by domesticating, by taking pride and pleasure in doing it. That's what you're saying.
Right. So,
I think so.
So
Aunt. I think I got you, Aunt. Let me know if I'm right.
So like this is hypothetically. So say me and Jay, we're in the same household, whatever, and I say,
Go on.
you take the trash out. You take. Okay, I'm gonna cook on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You take the trash out Tuesday, Thursday. I would feel like I was with a roommate and giving tasks. That's not. I don't understand that. Everybody
and some people are looking for that kind of interaction.
Yeah, that's not an
aren't,
interaction that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And then like what do you schedule sex too? Like
I know some people that schedule sex right, like Tuesday night. We finna yeah, girl. I'm gonna look. Tuesday's coming. Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna be there Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, I know people. But so, do you think that people who don't live in that space that causes issues, like people who? So if it's more set up like the roommate type situation where like they split everything and you do stuff on this day and I'll do stuff on that day, and do you think there's an issue with it? Because I mean, it seems like that should be able to balance also, right?
But see, again, that's not the space in which I'm speaking from. Uh-huh. So that's more of that person will believe in societal human roles as they are assigned in. Society said you should do this, or society said that if a woman, walks around the house and what is it, barefoot and pregnant or something? I don't know what the term is. I think everybody should watch the movie Claudine with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones.
Yeah,
if you have never seen that movie, that's like one of my favorite movies. Watch the movie Claudine with James Earl Jones and Diane Carroll. It was the introduction of the no man in the house law. Diane Carroll could not have James Earl Jones in the house with his children, and a white lady from the government used to come by and check and make sure he wasn't there. And when she knew that they were coming, he would have to leave and the children would hide his stuff. Now imagine the psychological impact of that. The children had to hide their fathers. The no man in the house law. That was the beginning. It was the beginning of.
I didn't even think about it.
That is a real thing if you look it up.
Oh yeah, that's what made it relevant at the time it came out.
Yeah,
right. But me seeing it years later, I wasn't even. But I mean, understanding what they were doing, and because I've seen it grow, I know people who live like that. You know what I'm saying? Who, oh, you got to take all your stuff and go on this day because the person coming. They give me the heads up. They don't just show up. So you can leave, so I can keep. I'm
gonna tell a short story, then I'm gonna let Jay weigh in because I'm like sweating right now. I feel so passionately about
life
this.
Preserver.
Not a life preserver. Though. She's gonna keep us afloat. Let's go.
Wait, you got me turning red. So a long time, I can't tell the whole story, but
change people's names to protect the innocent.
There was a family who needed support. Mm-hmm. The young lady, that one of the children had cancer. And I used to do stuff in the community, so I got a call and said, hey, are you able to help this family? This is where they're located. And I was actually en route to somewhere else, and I was going to pass the church they were located at. Mm-hmm. So I got there, and the mother, the father, and their 2 children had been evicted. But the dad lost his job because he was trying to take care of the chemo for the 4-year-old. And I got there, and I'm thinking about all of these things, like the movie, the role, the fact that they couldn't get assistance because the father was in the house. Like they couldn't get certain assistance because there was a father and a mother working in the household, and people can dress it up however they want and say, oh no, that's not true, the man can't be in the house. Well, when you take an income maximum down to $40,000 a year, does that really tell you that 2 adults can be in the house? You have to be very careful and cautious about how you read things, because it's essentially the same way slavery still exists, it just exists differently. And it's worded differently. So anyway, a lot of people were, and some people may remember this, a lot of people were very helpful in helping us keep that family in a hotel. Like they would send money for their hotel room, each night or whatever, so they could have somewhere to stay. Mm-hmm. The father and the mother, they stayed together, but they couldn't get certain benefits because they were together, and they didn't meet the income requirements, and the dad wasn't there. So the mom told me specifically one time, she said one place she wanted to move into, they told her if she moved, her husband could not be there. Mm-hmm. And people, they don't understand the impact that has on the family structure. Like you got to put the father out so your children can live. And then I'm looking at this 4-year-old girl. She has cancer. Her mother, they trying to stay together. Like it was just that right there. That whole experience speaks directly to what we're talking about right now. The movie Claudine. Again, if y'all haven't seen Claudine with James Earl Jones and Diane Curl about the no man in the house law, right at the cusp of the civil rights movement and the feminist movement. You're not going to understand anything what we're talking about, or you're not going to understand the depth of the impact that the role of a man and woman, especially in a black family, has in a household.
Yeah,
all right, I'm done, Jeff.
It's so layered because it's like this the way the whole system is set up, it's layered to the point where it turns it back on us, so it makes it look like it's our fault. So people looking at that situation might just be like, well, he should have did better for his family and stuff like that. Like it's that easy. Oh, he should have got a better paying job.
You know what, Dave?
What's up?
It's not layered, man.
You don't think so? But no, I'm saying when I say layered, I mean it's set up to where someone on the outside looking in has enough layered. When I say layers of excuses to not put it off on exactly what it is, which is that law being designed to remove the power of the family.
I hear what you're saying, nigga. And it seems like there is a lot of layers and it's all complex and shit, but it's really not, nigga. There's an enemy. Point blank,
that direct.
There's a concerted effort to destroy black families, to destroy black men, to destroy black women, to destroy black children. It's blatant. It's in everybody's face. It's cognitive dissonance. Is that we give it layers, and make it complex, and it's really simple. It's like we are indigenous people of this earth. So what we are is we are the immune system for planet Earth. So if something is attacking and killing the earth, our job is to destroy what is attacking and killing the earth. point blank, simple and plain, black and white. All these layers and complexities and shit. It's good for podcasts and books and conversations and shit, but it's not good for our survival, nigga. It's very simple as to like the problems that plague us, that plague our families, our communities, our relationships. There's a simple answer. Like there's an enemy that's blatant, and it's
So
like the
the
complexities
answer-
come in like the level of comfort we've been able to live in.
Right. That was created though. That's what I'm saying.
Indeed.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm saying at the root of it, it's a very primitive understanding of like,
Right.
oh, there's something that prohibits us from living in our divine essence.
Right. That's it.
And
The
that's-
divine essence.
And that's really it. It's like whether you want to do something to address the shit or not
Right.
is the
And so-
problem. But whether or not,
But the fact that we don't and aren't people aren't in a position to even think about doing it. You don't think it's like is something that's a product of removing the man from the family or breaking down the system of the family.
yeah, but that's
things like that, right?
just part of like the art of destruction.
Right. Yeah.
And, it's like
It's so
Your logic is sound.
strategic.
I can't.
It's so strategic, and it's so strategic that it's like essentially putting somebody in a room and taking them away from everything, that's outside of that room. Whatever you tell them while they're in that room, whatever music you play, whatever you teach them, whatever they have a clear, concise understanding of that you have implanted into their mind, they're going to come out and they're going to move about as such. Everything that they learned and they were told in that room.
Yeah.
So when you have whole families in pockets of neighborhoods, in pockets of, chaos, et cetera, and they go out and you expect them to have a different understanding of something, they won't have it. And they won't even realize that they've
That
been
it
programmed
exists.
in that
Right.
space.
Yeah. No, that's so true. Like, yeah, you sound logic, but I can't argue with you either.
Yeah,
but
man.
that's and there have been studies, there have been movies about this exact thing that you're speaking of, and it's something that's very evident. Like people put in certain situations, and they come out believing that being a product of that situation puts them in a position to only be exactly what they are. Have you ever heard people say stuff like, "Yeah, I'm a street nigga, and I'm always be that."
Yeah, I
And
mean, I was like that. My mother had to consistently pull my card about that, like for many years in my life. She consistently had to pull my card, and I just never got it. I never understood how much power I was giving those words and giving that energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like what I know now, I could take the same energy that I felt and use it regally, and use it, manifesting, divine energy and things that will uplift. So it's like alchemy. Like you take the same energy and power you was given the negative element, and you just transfer it to a positive element. But my mother used to pull my card all the time, like, you keep saying you a street nigga or you like a thug nigga and all of that. She was like, well, what are you? What are you? And it forced me to evaluate like the power of words, because the shit, it wasn't cool.
Shout out to Miss Joey.
You know what I'm saying? So the shit I was saying, like, I was like, damn, but this ain't really cool though. It's like I was basically verbalizing my pain outwardly, but subconsciously I was defining myself at the same time. And she's like, nigga, you don't know what you doing.
Right, because it's the words that you speak.
Yeah, that shit is power, man.
Segueing from that into the work that you do with the Cedar United Foundation. And so I'm sure that you see young people who are just in that same box, who are just like you. And what kind of steps do you take to make sure that they come out of that and understand that there's more to the world than what you're seeing, and you're more than what the world is forcing you to believe that you are?
Yeah, man. The beautiful thing about working with young black boys is the magic and the power. Like, and I've been working with young men in DC for over 20 years, man, and it never gets old, man. There's a consistent God element to young black men and women, but because I work with black men or young men consistently, like it's consistent. Like there's always this power and this strength, and it's like they just these beautiful beings. And so I understand, like, oh, they search for the truth. But it's like if all of the options that they get in their upbringing ain't the truth, that's what they're gonna go with. So it's like
that's what they're gonna think is the truth.
Yeah. So all you got to do is present the truth, and it's like you don't really have to do a whole bunch of work because they so smart, they so intellectual, they so divine in themselves, and they at an age where they can still tap into where they came from before they got to their mother's womb. Like, but once you get like after like 20 in your 20s, you are on the earth too far to kind of recall, and so it's like when you teaching young people, when you teaching young people and you exposing them to different light, to different energy, to different frequencies, to different vibrations, they'll be familiar with them. Like, oh, I remember this feeling that that I'm divine, or that I have powers, or that I have vision, or that I have this light. Because they can still remember their light. They're like, oh yeah, I do remember this light from somewhere and somehow. And so it's like if you present the truth to them, and it's like, nah, nigga, because like a thing with me is like everybody, like with the young men, not even just in my community, but since the whole time I've been working with youth, they want them to like calm down and not be this aggressive ass goon type energy. But it's like, nah, nigga, I need that. I need you to keep that. Exactly, but I need you to harness and focus that over here, because I don't want you to be docile. I want you to be able to fuck somebody up and bust your gun, and for your freedom and your protection and your mother and your family and your community. Like, nah, I need all that aggression. Don't change or don't push that down. It's like, nah, but it's like we need to direct it in this manner.
And systemically, that's how they treat young men in the school system.
Yeah, it's like, so it's harmful to suppress that natural energy that they got, and their confusion about how they live, and their confusion about the society that surrounds them, and their confusion about why they're treated a certain way and other people aren't. Like, nah, don't suppress that energy. Keep that same energy, nigga. We just about to go over here with it.
And that's a huge part of that effort to break down the black family, because men teach that to their sons.
Absolutely.
Right.
Men show, and
like a woman can't teach these young boys that.
Jack,
non-verbally even.
That is at the core of like why I just got so excited when we were talking about.
When you start sweating?
Yeah, when I started sweating.
Life preserving shit.
When you start talking about my jacket.
I just saw Back to the Future. I'm sorry.
Don't
it
worry
is
about
nice.
It's a nice
It's cute.
Like, like I was listening to Jill Scott, I Need You. Remember the
Hell
song
yeah.
by Jill
Shout out
Scott?
to Jill. Hey, Jill.
And she said, I need you. Even though I can, I can do these things, I still need you, like the father of her children. Like we still need men. And we have this, we've been programmed and just our brains destroyed that we don't need men. When I hear somebody say that,
I don't need no man.
Yeah, like needing a man is a toxic thing, or their masculinity is toxic, and it's so not true. We do. I need a man. Like I need my man. Like that's a real thing. Like we do, but we've been programmed that we don't. And you just said, what does a man bring into the household? What does he show his children? What does he exude? He exudes manliness. A woman cannot exude manliness innately. She does embody feminine and masculine energy. Like you said, it's mathematics to present in different situations, but she does not exude the level of manliness that a brother can give.
Ooh, but this goes a whole. Dave, how much time we got? We okay?
Yeah, we good. It's 12:04.
Because this about it. Because
let's get into it.
Yeah, here we go, nigga. So now to women who have that idea planted in their mind,
which idea?
That
I don't need
a man idea. To their defense, this society has been created that way. So it's like they are victims. They are victims of a certain mindset. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a flaw in the system. But to their benefit, right? I'm quite sure that life circumstance and events that have happened have solidified that perspective, right? It's like it comes with like, no, nigga, this is why I've come to the point where I'm like, fuck that, I don't need
Because
no man.
these events
I'm
have
sure like
happened.
there are real tangible evidence in their life that have happened. So I don't even think it's just the indoctrination. And, you know, I think it's the indoctrination, you know, compounded with like real fuckboy shit that has happened to them.
But I think that's
situation.
like a byproduct of the
It is.
indoctrination
And
too,
so,
because-
yeah, but this, I ain't even get to the, that was just the crust to give, that was the setup, right?
Okay.
So
All
now
right.
as a man, you know, as a man, I feel the same way. I think men need women, not want, not desire, but need, right? And
100%.
but to the women's defense, as much as I feel I need a woman subjectively, personally, I feel like I like not just want, not just desire, but I feel like to be my highest self and my most complete, you know, divine self, I would need a strong woman in conjunction with me. You know what I'm saying? But real life circumstances and situations have proven that you have to take on the mindset like, well, fuck, I don't need no woman because this is real life and this is the situation and the cards that have been on the table for you to play, and it don't have a woman in it. And so it's like you're kind of forced, you're kind of forced to be like, even though emotionally and spiritually, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I need not just one, I need a woman, but when life is like, nigga, but this is what you got. So it's like you're forced to take on the, like, well, you know, I don't need no woman.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, I mean, I think you can function without a woman, but you're not even, like you even said, you're not even functioning at your highest.
Yeah, I know there's another level that no one can get to without a strong mate, just on what we were speaking of earlier, not even the human element, like the scientific, the spiritual, the mathematic equation of black men and black women united. There's like a formula that is like a supernatural, miraculous, you know, thing that happens. So yeah, so every person needs that, whether they know it or not. But this society functions at a frequency. Yeah, this functions at a frequency where black men and black women are at odds, and that has become the norm. And so we've been forced to redefine our reality in that aspect of like, we ain't gonna be able to do it with a mate though.
But I like to interject, because even though with everything that we talk about, no matter what goes on in society or how society tells us to move, if you believe strongly about something and you know that you have the innate power to make that shit happen, you're gonna make that shit happen.
That's fact.
Right? Yeah. So if I that's just like what I get what you're saying, and I don't want to.
And this was just to let you know that how people set in with that mindset,
right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to take away from what you said, because I respect what you said, and those are feelings. But if that's just like, it was similar to if as a woman I say, well, you know, society say, you know, I don't need no man, and I've had all of these lined up things happen to me. You know, all of these things happen. I don't believe things happen to you. They happen for you. I've had all of these things happen for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and forget that I feel like I need a man. I'm going to forget that I need that level of masculinity and you know, balance within myself, because that's essentially what it is. I'm going to forget that I need all that, and I'm going to subscribe to everything that people that really don't even fuck with me told me to believe. Right? So, but we have the power not to subscribe to that, no matter how long it takes. We see people that have worked all of their lives building, you know, whether it's a business or just building themselves and peeling their layers back and getting to know themselves, and getting married at 60 years old, right? So we have to hold on to that same energy that you talked about earlier, that even though the road gets bumpy, and even though you go through all of these things and you've been disappointed and degraded and, you know, all types of things, that alignment still exists, and we still need that as a people, and you still need that as a man, and I still need that as a woman, because we are so powerful together.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we gotta really understand that. I don't care, and this is me talking. I don't care what anybody tells me about what I don't need, what I don't need, and men this or what society. Like we talked about how some black women don't feel protected by men. I don't subscribe to any of that. I never feel unprotected ever. Like I don't subscribe to anything that is a hashtag or a movement or somebody said or they tell you how to act based on the indoctrination. I don't subscribe to any of that. And to do that, you have to believe in your innate power and your divinity and the masculine and feminine energy. And I'm telling you, Jay, to hold on to that.
Yeah,
like you have to hold on to that. No matter what the day, no matter what the hour, that combination is going to happen no matter what society says. And I know this sounds cliche, but we shouldn't give up on that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because that's, like you said, Jay, to have the understanding that you need that's your truth. And so that effort to separate you from your truth throws your balance off. You know what I'm saying? When you're not living in the truth that you need that and kind of accepting accepting, like she said, that indoctrination.
Nah, I agree. Like everything she said, I agree with.
That's some powerful stuff, right? She can't do it.
No, but I'm just saying, because I think a lot of people, especially society, are hard on women who take that approach, that whole "I don't need a man" approach. So I was just giving it perspective. Like, it's not just I'm the bad bitch and I got pride and the only reason I brought that up is like there would probably have been real life experiences that be like, even though she believes in this and that's what she feels she needs, is like life has been like, well, this and this has happened. So you get to a point you're like, okay, well, I put all my cards on the table and life said that it's not going to happen this way. So I don't want to just demonize those women who have that approach. Like, I don't need no goddamn man. I don't think it's just all hood rat neck snapping shit. I think there's a lot of relevant things that happen.
Because a lot of that, the neck snapping, the bad, all that stuff is a layer of protection.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, a lot of my approach is a level of protection.
Right.
Because the shit hurts. Like when you looking to be, to find love and have that understanding that you need a woman, and you get somebody that looks like exactly it. Like, oh shit! Finally, all of them years and all of them prayers and all of, what I'm saying. Then it's like, psych, nigga, I don't fuck with you for real. It's like, damn.
But yeah, no,
damn.
Raw and uncut.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so then you be like, well, fuck, like maybe it is meant that, I'm not supposed to be with somebody. So then it's just like, well, fuck them then, because I got all these moves to make and they ain't trying to rock. So
can I just say that and I'm talking about me. I've been there where I just gave up. And I was like,
I don't think
because when
I think we all have. I think everybody watching too has.
Everybody looked at the screen like, nigga.
Right.
Right. So I think, they say it's signs, signs like, zodiac signs, etc., that do this, or Cancer's love hard. I think any authentic botanical person gives you everything they got, because their integrity is like, wow. This is an authentic person. They so real. They straight up. You can trust them with all of your being, and they can talk to you, and you're like, man, where have you been? Like, those people exist. Those people that go in hard. And so when people like that go in hard, and the other person does something to undermine them or hurt them or scathe, that's the word, the level of loyalty that person believes that they deserve or that they thought that they had with that other person, that person is never the same.
Yeah, it chips away.
Never the same, and it slowly chips away. And I'm going to reference a book. I don't know if you guys have read it, but it's post-traumatic slave disorder. I forget the sister that wrote it. She's a PhD. If you do not have it, post-traumatic slave disorder. And when you start to, and I'm going left, but it all comes back together. It all it all is relative. It's all trauma, and it's trauma that's passed down from great grandparent to grandparent to parent to child, and we don't know how to love each other and be loyal and have integrity, so we end up hurting each other, and then those hurt people get together and they don't know how to heal together, or the other person isn't patient enough to wait to heal with them.
Right.
Like, we have so many layers of hurt and trauma, and we literally, we're injuring. Like, someone comes to us bruised and we have a bat out because we're excuse my language, but we're fucked up too, so we taking a bat and we beating them more, and then we sending them out to another brother or sister to feel, we either receive or beat each other more,
right.
you know. And I know
quick,
I went left, but
real quick, post-traumatic slave syndrome, America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing is a 2005 theoretical work by Dr. Joy DeGroy.
Dr. Joy DeGroy. Yes,
Hey.
that book. Her lectures are amazing. She even goes into one of her lectures about how gynecologically the slave masters ripped the insides of black women to pieces. So what is her name again?
Joy DeGroy.
Dr. Joy DeGroy. She's a sister of post-traumatic slave syndrome. Get that book because it intertwines a lot of the trauma that has been passed down, the lack of healing that we've experienced generation to generation. I know now in 2020 and, you know, in the past 20 years, we've experienced, did you go to therapy, or did you have somebody to talk to? Just think about it. Our great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents never got any type of therapy.
Right.
And so we are now at the butt of everything that was never ever healed, because that stuff flows through our blood and our veins, and we don't, in order to know how to love and not hurt one another, we first have to understand how we are wired and how we got there.
Deep.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I went so left, but
No, you brought it back.
Hold on, since we ain't got no structure, I'm going, Dave. What time is it?
It's 12:17 and 42 seconds. No, I'm just 12:17. Go ahead.
So, all right. So I guess I have a confusion about what is meant to be. It's like, you know, because I always hear Bruce Lee talk about be like water. You kind of just got to go with
the flow. Yeah.
You know, where you're put in position. So let's just say, those women who have the I don't need a man mentality, like it's being honest and putting themselves, you know, and just certain situations just keep happening, whereas though it's not manifesting.
So they built up that layer of
and
I don't need a man.
You know, at what point did you be like, well, I have to follow the path that is being presented to me? You know what I'm saying? This is for the ones that are, and men, I ain't gonna keep it to women, but the people who are being honest with themselves in a quest. Because Kim said, you know, it's like
Kim Smith?
Yeah, Kim Smith was like, I understand we need each other to build a community and raise families, but from a romantic standpoint in marriage, it's a desire, not a need. So some people just see it as a desire or a want. But, you know, divinely speaking, I feel it as a need.
Right.
So it's there, you know, and I understand the differences, Kim.
Yeah,
but you know, but there are certain demographic
level to it that is.
Yeah, it's a spiritual level of what you're trying to accomplish spiritually that it becomes more of a need based on the human element of exchange and all that. But anyway, at what point for those people who are being honest, sincere, and putting their cards on the table with potential mates and all of these things, but it's just like, because in my life, I've looked back in the past at events or things that I really, really wanted to happen real bad, then like time will pass and I'm like, oh, thank God for saving me from that situation that I had to have, or I thought I wouldn't be able to live without having this thing. But then in hindsight, it's like, oh, thank you, God, for not allowing me to get what I wanted at the time. So it's like there's a balance of like, well, ain't nothing really presenting itself. And, you know, I don't want you to go this way. I don't want you to go this way. Just go the way that, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to push you, and just trust me. Like I've had you your whole life. Right? You looking at a guy like, yeah, you right. Like, so just shut up, nigga. I know you want this woman, or I know you want this man, but this, you know what I'm saying? So what's y'all's perspective on the balance of kind of like just allowing, especially when you're being true to yourself. Like if you bullshitting and like manipulating men or women, or you know what I'm saying, like playing games and like you know what I'm saying. It's like, but when you being real with it, and it's like, nah, nigga, you get nobody. It's like, oh damn, like for real.
Because it's tough to say, because that you that's being real with it is a different person from that you that was being real with it when you were, you know, like, so when you say that change happened from I really need this thing and this is what I have to have and I'm gonna devote everything to having it, to the person who was like, damn, I'm glad I didn't get that, because it would have been, you're a different being real with yourself, right? Being real with yourself is two different things. And because you're different, you've grown and you know more. You have a deeper understanding. So being real with yourself at that time was putting everything I have into this thing that I desire until you realize. But so even with that though, I don't necessarily think that it's like, so my philosophy on that whole thing is like love hard every time. I feel like
that shit dangerous, bro.
No, but hold on, because there's benefits to it, and the reason that we don't is based on the fear of being hurt. But every situation is a learning experience, even if all you learn is to never do that thing again. Love hard every time.
But that goes back to the point of like, okay, well, you like if you went with your philosophy, right, and all these things happen to the person with the pure heart, then the conclusion based on your perspective is like, well, I ain't never trying that shit no more, because I learned that lesson of pain and understanding this time and that time and that time. So it's like, well, if I'm going to be in alignment with like learning lessons from past experiences, like that'll be like, well, fuck it, fuck a man, or fuck trying to find a woman.
I hear you, but I feel like it's more like if when you're pursuing a goal, like when Patrice wanted to open up Fruit Fit, right?
Yeah.
And so you might have tried this path and it didn't work out, and you tried another path and it didn't, or something became an obstacle that made it arduous and things like that.
I can speak to that.
Yeah,
I can speak to that. So what happens? I'm gonna tell you what happens. The goal never changes.
Right, and so that's what I'm. So
right. So you
still, the goal shouldn't change. You should adjust, and so what you should learn from that sometimes should be not to go in that direction to get to your goal, but not to give up on that.
On the goal itself.
The goal is to have
right
with someone,
but no,
then it should always be right. Like, so if your goal is to have Fruit Fit, then if doing it by taking a loan from somebody is not the right way. So I mean, however you went through the process. But,
no, I think so. Here's the thing, though. You can't. So this is the feminine energy, I guess, in me. So just like you guys, I've been hurt before. You know, put all yourself into something, yada yada yada.
That thing hurt too, man.
You have to. But here's
it's
the
hard
thing,
to even talk about this shit.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that we don't understand. That we don't do. We don't take time to sit back after the hurt and reevaluate, instead of just pointing the finger that way and point the finger this way.
Shit, who is we?
I
know. Who the fuck are you talking to?
Listen,
okay.
Wait a minute, y'all gave me the mic. I got the mic, right?
Technically, we didn't.
We all have them.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Jack, you better stop.
Took off the life preserver.
I know.
Wait a minute, I got my jacket
Put her
on
motherfucking
now.
life preserver back on. She tripping now.
So there has to be a level of like, you can't, we gotta stop like giving up. Like,
right, and that's
like, but
point.
when you give up, but let me take the word back. Let me take the word back. It's not giving up. So I'll share personal.
Please do.
One time I was hurt so bad, I was celibate for 2 years. And I poured myself into working and going to school. I had like 3 jobs. I was going to school. I really didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do, but I knew that I could not sit still, because if I sat still, and this was when I was in my early 20s, if I sat still, it would force me to look at myself and like really peel my layers back. But now that I'm 44, I can be like, you know what? I don't have to keep myself in that busy space, because I know what it's like to,
afraid of yourself
yeah, I'm
anymore.
not afraid of myself. Like, you have to take the time to heal, so you're not afraid of the monster that all of the shit that you've been through has created. you have to be able to peel your layers back, because if you don't, then you're going to look at everybody that comes your way. They're going to, so if you can imagine like an abstract piece of art, that person is going to embody, their arm is going to look like Bob's arm. Their chest is going to look like Sean's chest. And I'm talking to the ladies. They're going to be a walking testimony to everything that you've been through. You still see it because you never healed from it. So it's still in your tunnel vision. But in order to look at somebody as a whole new person, like you walking into a forest, like you see that one tree and it's brand new and it's got green leaves. The only way that you can look at that person as their organic self and how and know that they're going to show you who they are based off of them and no one else is if you yourself have taken the time to heal and do the things that you need to do to believe in your divine alignment, and that this person was sent to you for a specific reason. And the flip side of that is sometimes that person might not be there for the reason that we think that they're there for. But that doesn't mean that when you move to the next person that, oh my God, I'm just going to give up on everything. Like I said, in my 20s, I probably would have felt. But now I'm like, okay, well, that wasn't a line for that was a line for me for this specific time in my life, and it was supposed to teach me this, just like India Ari says in one of her songs, thank you for teaching me how to give. Like, we don't know how to give anymore. We just take. What is this person? What are my expectations? Expectations means that person's going to give something to me. Well, how can I give?
And love is giving.
Yeah, love is giving. True authentic love is giving of yourself. Nobody's saying stay in a relationship where you're getting your ass beat but if somebody is treating you like, in the divine space that you are, but first you got to believe that you're in that space.
I understand what it is, and all
you just got to look at things differently, but it takes time to get into that space. So
yeah, definitely. And that's what I was saying. Like, love hard every time. You robbing yourself of the experience if you don't. Even if that person, and you do build a arsenal of things that you can use to protect yourself from going down the exact same path every time. Like I always say, if you go through a relationship, first of all, what you said about like, the relationship putting you in a position to take 2 years off and things like that, like bad relationships are transformative. Like informative, like they'll teach you things about yourself. But if you go through a relationship, not even necessarily a bad one, but one that doesn't work out, and you didn't learn anything, you're doing it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not only that are you not doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, but you didn't self-evaluate. That's so important. Like this, in everything that you do, whether it's like, I can even speak from a business perspective that there were mistakes that I made. I had to self-evaluate, how do I not do that again? Okay, I did this, and this to get, it's just like math. If you did this, and this to get that answer to the equation, and it was the wrong one, then your methodology has to be different when you're over here. Exactly. But if you never examine how you got there, and where the source was, then you'll never know how to get it in the next equation. It's the same thing. It's with
this
every
was inspirational,
move.
y'all.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Neighborish live cast. Cast.
We found that wavelength.
I'm sweating. I like talking to y'all.
We found that, because a lot of times y'all be saying stuff, I'll be like, what the hell? No, but no, I feel like we all were kind of vibing on that one. So, and that takes us right up to about 12:30.
There we go. Yeah. We on time all the way today.
It's always, we need to do more shows with just us going over topics, and so I'm going to schedule that into more stuff. But,
that's right.
But yeah, we got some great shows coming up, though. We got a few people coming through that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
But thank you for checking us out and listening to the stuff we say.
Thank you for listening, y'all.
And joining us as you typically do. This is extremely insightful and fun. I always enjoy talking to you guys and hearing you guys' perspective on stuff. Y'all are pretty smart people. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but you guys are pretty.
Most people think I'm a nerd, so
a nerd.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I sometimes I'm just quiet just because.
You don't want to be pegged as a nerd. I think
no, just because you get you're misunderstood when you you enjoy 2 hours of talking about this versus, other things.
I feel that. I don't like being misunderstood. That's why I feel like I over-explain. You know, you say I talk a lot and stuff. I feel like I be trying to over-explain because I don't like for people to hear like everything I say and then be like, you're saying this. And you be like, you did me. Or no. You know,
that's not it, Dave.
But that's, yeah, right. But I mean, so I don't, being misunderstood is, I don't know, it's something I'm working on. Because sometimes you got to just be like, look, I said what I said. If you don't get it, I'm sorry. You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so. But yeah, 12:30. Thank you guys for checking out another episode of the Neighborish Livecast. On behalf of myself, Super Dave, our resident feminine energy,
Fruit Fit,
Butter pecan,
and DC's native son.
Hey,
we don't have one for Jay, do we?
It's just A.
Hey. We all gonna sound like Fonzie.
Sunshine.
I like that. Sunshine.
Don't call you sunshine.
Like
I'm sorry.
So that means we got to do it more because he don't like it. So.
It don't matter. The people will tell me.
Right. They said it down. Hey, you got to shut that sunset
I
down.
got power. I got power in the people.
Okay. All right. Shout out to the people. But yeah, on behalf of all the three of us, thank you guys for checking us out. Join us again next week. Y'all have a great week, man. Tomorrow is election day. Try not to stress. It's a lot of stress going on based around this whole thing. Yeah, because it's not even that. I hate to say, like you guys say, that probably offend a lot of people, but it's not that serious.
I mean, people have their own belief system. It's cool.
People don't know how to be still amongst chaos. When you know how to be still amongst chaos and create your own peace within the chaos, you move differently.
People understand how much they add to the chaos by panicking and being like, that's a brilliant statement you just made, and that's why we keep you around.
Ditto.
Fit. Yeah. But all right, with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great one, and peace.
Peace.
Thanks for watching, y'all.